Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Static Shift Resonant Frequency. This week, we're taking a behind-the-scenes look at Episode 7, Spooky Action. I'm your host, Rob Sogomonian. I'm a voiceover and a founding member of Articulate Studios. I'm located here in the San Francisco Bay Area, actually just a little bit east of San Francisco, in a little town called Walnut Creek, or Concord is actually where I live, but Walnut Creek is probably the one that you would be able to find on a map. I'm joined by my fellow founding members, Tiffany Magnuson, Aaron Sikowski, Danielle Card, and last but not least, Jason Tibor. Now, we do have a couple of members who might be filtering in a little bit later during the episode. They may not, so we'll see. But if they join us, it will be the rest of the cast from Episode 7, Spooky Action, and this one's a really fun episode. I really enjoyed producing it. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and start with some introductions, just in case you're new to our show. Tiffany, why don't we start with you? Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us just a little bit about you and what brings you into the world of Static Shift.
I'm a voice actor, founding member of Articulate. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Portland metro area. I came into this group, a group of friends that wanted to get together and do some cool stuff and have some accountability in the VO world, and I'm just here for all of it. So, yeah.
Love it. Well, welcome to the show. Aaron, we're going to shift over to you, or should I say Matthew Kaufman, P.I. You play Aaron Sikowski in this episode. Why don't you introduce Aaron Sikowski, and then we can shift over to Matt Kaufman. I'm confused, and I don't even know. We're already just getting started, and I'm getting confused already.
That's awesome. So I'm Aaron Sikowski. I exist to the south of the Ocala National Forest right here in Central Florida. I am a voice actor and audio engineer for our group and for whoever wants to use our services. And I play a bunch of stuff in the Static Shift thing, and that's my story.
Play a lot of really varied stuff, which is really cool. It's awesome to see somebody. I mean, all of us have a lot of variety, so it's really, really cool to see that. But you are exceptionally talented when it comes to different characters, so I love that. Danielle, let's shift over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into Articulate Studios.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Danielle Card. I hail from Michigan in the Metro Detroit area. And yeah, I'm a voiceover artist, actor, whatever the correct terminology is. But yeah, I've been doing voiceover for just almost 2 years now. And I joined Articulate about a year and a half ago, maybe a little less. And I am just absolutely thrilled to be here. This, again, it's a great group of friends and people. We just, as Tiffany had said, wanted more accountability, wanted to be able to have the freedom to create some of our own things and use our talents as voice actors, as writers, as producers, whatever it is that we're good at. And everyone is good at something in this group, which is just so amazing to see. But yeah, just thrilled to be here, thrilled to be part of Static Shift, and I just gotta say I love this episode, so very excited to talk about it.
This is a really cool episode, and to your point, a lot of us are good at least one thing, but a lot of us are also very multi-talented. Multi-hyphenate, I believe, is the current term. Used to be called Jack of all trades, and then we came up with a cooler name for multifaceted people. And speaking of multifaceted, we have our showrunner, the writer, director, producer, audio music composer, audio engineer for the primary episodes, badass voice actor, and just all-around good person, Jason Tibor. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. So my name is Jason, and I am the creator of Static Shift, and I really love being part of Articulate Studios. Danielle, what you were saying about the freedom to do what we want to do, I think really that was a big part of all of us wanting to do something like this, because we didn't want to have to wait for somebody else to write a story so we could be a part of it. It was just, let's write our own stories. Let's make our own things. And that's why I'm here, because I wanted to make Static Shift.
I love it, and thank you so much for making Static Shift. It's also wonderful to be a part of this group and to kind of see how the group has influenced the development of Static Shift. Because, like you said in a couple of the earlier episodes, you planned on it to be more of an anthology series where the episodes weren't necessarily going to be connected. It was just going to kind of have this underarching theme, and then you decided, well, why not just make it into like an actually story-driven show, which I'm having a great time with. We touched on it a little bit in the last Resonant Frequency episode about how a lot of us just play different characters in a lot of the episodes. So Jason, tell me a little bit about kind of, now we're starting to get threads going through these episodes with characters who are sticking around a little bit longer. In the case of Matt Kaufman, in the case of Lynn or Tatiana, Jefferson Gardner. So these are some McCracken. So now we're getting some of these characters who are sticking around for episodes on end. How has your writing style changed because of that, or has it at all?
No, I think it definitely has. And it's funny you bring that up because it just earlier, a little while before we did this, I was doing some production work on this episode, actually, episode 7. And I was specifically thinking about the things that I would do in the early episodes. I would plant these little things in the episode, not knowing what it was like. I had no idea who Chief McCracken was back in episode 3. Like when she was first mentioned. I didn't know. I just wanted there to be kind of this foil for Matt Kaufman. So then it comes time to introduce her, and in a narrative sense, I need a lot more than just it's somebody who Matt Kaufman is mad at. Like, she's got to have a story. She's got to have a personality, and all of those things have to fit into this. I think I would, up until recently, it was very much an emerging narrative, which is a fancy way of saying I didn't know where I was going as I was coming up with it as I went along. The remaining episodes of season 1 have now been at least roughly sketched out, and they are in the writing process right now. So they're all 3 episodes are essentially going to be written concurrently, which is, if you go back and look at episodes 1, 2, and 3, that was just coming up with some cool characters and putting some juicy bits in there that I can come and call back on later. And now is when you're really getting into the payoff for a lot of those things. Like just the introduction of Chief McCracken, when you listen
planting the seeds in that first episode, the first couple of episodes, and now we're starting to kind of see the seedlings come up. Or are we actually picking fruit at this point?
It's getting real close to fruit picking time.
Love that. I love that. I also want to touch on a little bit of clarity here. I've actually been talking with one of our fans, Randy Spears, quite a bit on kind of some of the development that we've been going
Randy.
through. Yeah, hi, Randy.
She's listening.
She's definitely listening. She loves the show, which it's always empowering and inspiring when you have somebody who's willing to discuss the details of some of the stuff you're working on with. So
Absolutely.
Honestly, anybody else who's listening who wants to get in touch, feel free to reach out on social media. Feel free to email us at staticshift@articulate.studio. We'll get into all of that, all those plugs at the end. All those links will be in the show notes and all that stuff too. But talking to her recently about kind of some of the production of Static Shift, she was blown away that a lot of times we don't have number one, all of the scripts because they weren't written when we started, and a lot of the development of the program, a lot of, as we've been going, we've been getting a script at a time. It's not like we have 2 or 3 scripts to kind of base our acting choices on, or character development choices, or any of that on. We get a script and we just kind of go through, and none of us have really questioned it because the scripts are all really well written, so it's not really a problem to kind of get some pull some threads on some of these characters as they're written and just go for it. But we don't know the resolution to a lot of this stuff. So when I'm theory crafting, like I don't have season 1 in my head already going, okay, well, how can I spin this to make it like a theory craft, quote unquote, fun, side thing? I'm literally coming up with what my ideas are and what I think the possibilities are, because I don't know where we're going. We have we recorded episode 8 yet? I don't even think we have a script for episode 8 yet. So
Nope.
Yeah, episode 7's coming out. Episode 8, 9, and 10, we don't know where this is going yet as actors. Jason does, like he just said. He's got kind of the ideas in his head. But it's going to be super exciting to kind of see where those ideas take us. And that also, Aaron, jump in here, because Aaron's been writing the beat frequency episodes. My friend Sally, his second episode, which as of yet does not have a confirmed name.
It does. I just haven't revealed it yet.
A confirmed name is what I said. Confirmed, like confirmed to the public. I guess announced name is a more apt way to say it. But even in Aaron's, like, generally with Jason's scripts, we'll get the whole script and we'll kind of see what is going on in that episode. In this second script that Aaron's doing, there are several of us who are just completely siloed. We don't know what's going on outside of our portion of the script, which is kind of cool. I think that's very interesting. It's going to be a nice little surprise. Aaron, talk a little bit about that.
I mean, I don't want to take away from the subject of what our podcast is on today, but I will say that, I guess for the purpose of surprise and reaction and a really fun listen party for all of us, a lot of us are doing our own scenes apart from each other. So it'll be real interesting when it all comes together. But back to this episode at hand.
100%. I just wanted to touch on that because I think it's super interesting how in a lot of these situations we don't know what's coming next. And I just think that next Sally episode is like taking it to an extreme, which is fantastic. I love it.
I know. I am so excited for it to come out, honestly.
100%. Great. Getting back to this script and getting back to this episode, let's talk a little bit about kind of the introduction to this episode. We have Chief McCracken. We have her assistant / drinking buddy, Julia, neither of whom are on our podcast today. Unfortunately, we had a scheduling conflict. They might show up a little later, and if they do, we'll get some of their ideas on these characters. But assuming they don't, I like how this kind of starts to paint a picture of McCracken playing the role of chief, police commissioner, maybe being less than forthright with what she's giving the reporters, which I'm getting a little bit of a hint of that. Julia kind of being her right-hand woman, as it were. What went into setting this scene? How do you think that this is going to play into the larger narrative of Static Shift?
Well, this is, again, this is the first time that we're hearing from McCracken. This is our introduction. So, she's somebody who's been kind of lurking in the shadows, especially in Matt Kaufman's world. So I think when we're introduced to her, yeah, you're absolutely right. There's something not quite on the level happening here. And, I think later in this episode, we find out, we kind of get the payoff of that. Because this scene is really the whole thrust of the scene is to introduce her and to set up her later scene in this episode, which it's at that point that she gets brought into the narrative from another angle. So you realize it's not just her connection to Matt Kaufman. There's this other connection that she's got with the larger narrative. And a lot is revealed about both her as a character and it's setting up where she's going to go in ways that are not going to be obvious just from listening to this episode, but they will be obvious by, say, the end of episode 8 or halfway through 9 or something. So I think right now what you're getting is this this person who's clearly done some shady things, but it's this is not somebody who's fully bought in to what she's involved with. So there is, I think, a sense of conflict there within her.
And I'm actually curious to see if at some point we find out that maybe she wasn't really the one who got Matt. Here's me theory crafting again. Wasn't actually the one who got Matt kicked off the force, but as you can definitely throw somebody else under the bus by making it look like there's evidence against them, you can also kind of scapegoat somebody by making it look like they're the ones who caused it. So I'm wondering if there's some outside influences here to try to drive, Matt to be misdirected towards the wrong person that got him kicked off the force, so that he's not looking to his right because he's so focused on his left, if that makes sense. I don't know. Don't answer that. I mean, that's my theory crafting.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. It's okay.
I love
Jason with the man with all the secrets.
Jason has got all of the secrets. Speaking of secrets, we shift from our introduction scene and we go into a laboratory. And our researcher from episode 6 gets a name. Dr. Wren is her name. And she's working with Dr. Petrovich. And they are talking about some new equipment. Now, it seems like the new equipment's doing quite well. They're up to trial 73. It's pretty interesting. I've been doing a lot of trialing here. Dr. Petrovich, Tiffany, I love your accent. It's amazing. And I think it just fits so well in these episodes. How did you approach this relationship that you have with Dr. Wren? Because it seems like, at least in this episode at this point, Dr. Wren might be a little bit more further along in her knowledge of what's going on. At least she knows a little bit more about the equipment that's been brought in and, the fact that it's working properly and everything seems like it's going well. Did you and Tabitha, who's playing Dr. Wren, and again, she's in Australia, so when we're recording this, it's like 7 a.m. for her. She's in the middle of getting kids ready for school, and so she's not able to make this recording. Did you guys get together and before the episode, or even when you were recording this, did you talk about kind of what the dynamic was, or did you guys just like YOLO and jump right into it?
So we did one take where it was just us, going through the script, right? And then we started talking about, okay, what is the relationship between, Wren and Dr. Petrovich, right? So what's happening here? Because it seems like Dr. Wren, it seems like she knows Petrovich better than we may have imagined, right? That she's been working with her for a while. She knows that there's like this, kind of professional relationship. And there's a point in there where she's asking permission to like speak freely. So Tabitha and I were talking about that moment and what's going through Dr. Wren's head. Is she apprehensive about this? Are there consequences for her to have a more candid conversation about things? But it's clear that she's been working closely with Dr. Petrovich for a period of time. So that's and that we took that approach in like the second and third takes that we did for this. So when I submitted my takes over to Jason, I don't think I included the original take 1. I think it was just 2 and 3. So yeah, we tried to address that relationship a bit better.
It definitely comes through in the listening experience, at least for me. It felt like they were very professionally working almost on the same level, even though Petrovich obviously has much more knowledge about what's really going on as far as the experiments and all of that side of things. Dr. Wren has an understanding of, again, like the equipment and how it's working and it's achieving the results that they're looking for. And I know that Petrovich is kind of tweaking things, expanding the range a little bit, inverting phases and doing some stuff to kind of like do some more testing. However, seems like Dr. Wren is like right there, knows exactly why she's doing it and what the intended outcome is. So good job on that. That's great acting, great character development.
Mm-hmm.
We also get a little bit of a sense that Dr. Petrovich isn't really a fan of Gardner. I don't think
No.
anybody's really a fan of Gardner.
No, she is not a fan of Gardner. He's kind of a necessary evil. And I say evil on purpose, right? Because there's this idea that, Petrovich is behind a lot of this and that she's nefarious in the things that she's doing. And I think there is a touch of that, right? There's some moral ambiguity in regards to the things that she's doing. But I feel like she's also driven by a more evil force. Like there's something else going on that's she wants to accomplish something, and they are a means to an end that she doesn't necessarily agree with or want to be associated with. Yeah.
Gotcha. Them is so Gardner and I can't remember the other guy's name from episode 3, but those two being the evils, being the necessary evils,
Yes.
not the outcome.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So she thinks that the outcome is worth working with these weirdos.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say I really liked this portion of it because so far we've seen Dr. Petrovich, like everyone who's worked under her, they're always like, oh my gosh, keep your head down. You don't want to get on her bad side. There's this level of fear that they have, and it's like there are some serious consequences by going against Dr. Petrovich or, sticking your head up in the wrong way, whatever it may be. But I love this scene because it's like, first off, Dr. Wren knows Dr. Petrovich's first name and calls her that, which is like, okay. There's not that fear, and it's like, yes, still very professional, very like, we're going to talk business. And yes, when it comes to the personal thing, it's like, okay, yeah, can I speak freely? But even in that asking in that question, there's not this fear. So I really like getting to see that other side of, of Dr. Petrovich, and it was just something really fun that I noticed.
I'm
It
gonna
made her a bit more human rather than like big bad.
and I'm gonna pull on that thread just a little bit more. In asking permission, you get the sense that they have kind of their professional relationship, which is, hey, we're on work, we got to just focus on work. Here's our objective. We're going for our objective. And there's that element of, hey, we're also friends, right? Like, can we turn off? Can we go off the record for a second? Like, that kind of a thing, like, right? Which I think humanizes Dr. Petrovich a little bit. Like you said, she's not just this big bad who's just evil. It kind of brings her down to reality, which I love it.
I imagine that they've had late nights in the lab, right, where they're working on this and trying to get something to actually click or have something work in one of their, experiments or whatever. So I feel like they have worked hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, many times. But I mean, there still is that level of respect from Dr. Wren where she's like, "Can I ask you something?" Yeah, and kind of questioning Petrovich, which I think a lot of people would be, petrified. Petrovich, they'd be petrified to even think to ask her something that might challenge what's going on or how things are being run. Yeah.
I think you got something there with the name. Gonna add that to my theory crafting.
Do it.
Thank you, Tiffany. Is there anything that you wanted to add to this particular scene, Tiffany? It's just a short little aside scene, which is great. I can't wait to see more of Dr. Petrovich and hopefully Dr. Wren. But was there anything else in this particular scene that stood out to you that you wanted to touch on or expand on?
I think this scene was really well written, and for the purpose that it is for, giving you that kind of human side of Dr. Petrovich and kind of the working relationship that she has with Dr. Wren, I think it fit the bill for what it was trying to do.
Agreed. Very much agreed. It's a great scene. From that, we shift into a restaurant where... Oh, by the way, I just want to also say, when I say that we're kind of running bootstrapped here and we don't get like the next episode, we don't even have a finished. When we're at the time of recording of this, we don't have a finished episode yet. So we're still Jason's still working on wrapping that up. So speaking of just kind of like we've listened to the episode edited together for timing, but we're commenting on an episode that we haven't quite heard the full released version of yet, which I think is awesome. Getting to watch these things come together, it's amazing. Shifting to a restaurant where McCracken is now waiting for Jefferson Gardner. Unfortunately, again, Nettie's not here to talk about the McCracken side of stuff, but I play Jefferson Gardner in this scene, and it was a fun scene to act through.
You sleazy douchebag.
Yeah, 100%, which is exactly who I am in real life. Danielle, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, Robert, how
Yeah.
did you come across this scene? What were your thoughts running through, what was running through your mind as you were looking at the script, analyzing, and trying to approach this character that is so like yourself?
Well, thank you for asking, Danielle. This is actually the first time that I've been on this podcast as a guest, and so
You're so
No,
good about introducing us to our scenes. I'm like, you deserve that as well.
I appreciate that. It was definitely fun. I love playing characters who are polar opposites of who I am. I'm never late. Like if I'm late, I will apologize profusely because I'm always 10 minutes early to anything. At least. I'm not sleazy like this. I don't try and like undercut people. So the fact that I get to play somebody who is pretty much the antithesis of me is awesome. And I think we did 4 takes of this particular scene because the first one, I drew some inspiration from a character from a movie, and I kept kind of falling out of the accent. And I was doing the defense secretary from Hunt for Red October is kind of who I was drawing inspiration from because he's kind of a sleazeball in that movie. And I was like, I think that fits this character, so I'm going to do something like that. Jason actually wanted me to be more just kind of myself, which, fine, I can do that. But get more and more unhinged as the scene goes on, which the second and third and fourth, actually the fourth one, I think I went back and tried another take as the defense secretary. But it was a lot of fun to kind of start as somebody who's well put together, showing up late just to infuriate his guest that he's meeting for lunch, and then kind of commanding the scene, and then towards the end getting just a little bit unhinged. And that's fun. It's fun to do that. And Nettie did a really good job of kind of playing the part of, again, the police commissioner who's maybe being bribed to do all of this stuff, maybe isn't super bought in on her end, but hey, the money's good. I'll do whatever you want me to do, right? Like that kind of a vibe. And it was good. It was good. We also get another little throwback to, I believe, Uncle Larry being captured and being secured and getting the treatment he needs, which I think is, yeah, very, very much so. But yeah, the scene was a lot of fun. And then kind of being a dick and being like, all right, I'm out, and then leaving was a fun thing to do. Jason, when you were putting this scene together, how many times did you have to rewrite it? Like, did this just come together naturally, or did you have some scenes or some moments where you're like, this could be even more nefarious?
I think the only real departure that I had from the original concept for this scene was I was thinking about this whole thing, Jefferson Gardner's issues with keeping his pants on. And I had this idea where he came into the restaurant a little bit like a bull in a china shop, that there was some kind of commotion. Here's McCracken is sitting there and she's waiting and waiting and waiting. And then there's this like a scuffle at the door and raised voices for a moment. And then Jefferson Gardner comes over. Which would have been fun, but also production-wise, it would have eaten up a lot of time resources. And I in the end, I just didn't think it added enough to the story. Like, it was really functioned as nothing more than a fun kind of a callback to this thing about, he's got issues with partying. It just didn't need to be there. So I ended up just deleting that. Outside of that, though, I did have a very clear idea that I wanted this to be a conversation where Gardner is really letting McCracken know, like, this is the way things are. You are going to take your orders as you're given them. And so there are some things implied there that that point to why and how McCracken is in the position she's in right now. And then when you combine that with what Matt Kaufman has found out, you start to get a picture of, again, going back to that first scene, of somebody who's made some poor choices and is now facing the consequences of those choices. But she's in too deep. She can't just walk out.
Gotcha. Very interesting. Speaking of Matt Kaufman, we shift over to him actually showing up at Jefferson Gardner's house and talking to Jefferson Gardner's wife, who finally, Danielle gets off of the headsets, gets off of the phones. She is not just a voice on the phone, and she gets to play not Matt Kaufman's wife, Jefferson Gardner's wife, Renee. Danielle, welcome to the show.
Finally get taken off of the phone voice and stuck next to Jefferson as his wife. So I don't know. Is that an upgrade? I don't know about that.
I mean, it is me, so it's definitely no, because your real life husband is way cooler than I am. But
he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he remodeled your kitchen, so he's pretty cool. I love this scene, and I'm sad that Hannah's not here to kind of talk about it with us. But we've got Tatiana, we've got Matt, and we've got Renee. And I'm going to start with Aaron and Renee, so since you are the two who are here. How did you guys? How easy was it to play off of each other? With Danielle, you being Renee, knowing kind of a little bit about Jefferson's weird history, his affinity for going a bit overboard at parties, things like that. And then Aaron, on your side, you don't have any idea what's going on. You don't know who Renee is yet. Like, you kind of have an idea of who McCracken is, but you don't know who the financial backing is to all of the stuff that McCracken's been going through. Did that play into any of this for either one of you, or did you guys just grab your lines and start going?
I was going to say, so you're talking about how most of us, we don't have what comes next. With this, I love this character that Jason wrote. I love her so much. And he did give me, without any spoilers, gave me a sneak peek of kind of a little bit more about this character, which was so helpful to really just bring her to life. Because, as the episode shows, it shows that she's with normal middle-class kind of girl, good grades, meets Jefferson, gets married, and then kind of is like doing a few little random things, but is kind of not really on the map. Like, she doesn't make a big name for herself, which I thought was kind of cool. And then, but yeah, she's married to a sleazebag, and she obviously knows that she's married to a sleazebag because she says so in the episode. He's like, yeah, he's not a good guy. He's not, and you're going to find some bad things about him. But she doesn't have that information herself, and so it was just a really fun character to play, someone who, is married to someone who thinks that she's an accessory or whatever, but she still has, like, a bit of influence. She's still got this, a little bit of a reputation of being, she's the wife, she's whatever. So being able to bring that to life of someone was born middle class, normal, and then has this polished kind of look was just a really fun thing to do. And Aaron and I, like, we've done so many scenes of different stuff together, so it's always very easy to play off. It's like, yeah, and we just need, I don't know, okay, did we do 2 takes or 3 takes, Aaron? I can't remember. We did 3, okay. So we didn't do a ton. Just got a little bit more direction from Jason while we were recording, and it was, I just really loved it, and it's just really fun.
Can I say something that pops into my head about this whole dynamic? So you know the Lego movie where they have the sitcom like, Honey, Where's My Pants? I feel like
Oh no. Oh no.
I feel like Gardner is the guy that's just walking around like, where's my pants?
You know, that is me in real life. I'm not going to stand up in front of the camera here because then you'll all know my secret. But yeah,
Where
I've
are
been
my
trying to find
pants?
Yeah, I've been trying to find those pants for decades. I don't know where they are.
Static Shift and Lego crossover confirmed.
Perfect.
Am
You heard
I
it
the
here first,
only-
folks.
Am I the only articulate member who wears pants to workouts in these podcasts and stuff?
Yes.
I can confirm
I do.
I am wearing pants.
Okay, me too.
Okay, good.
I wear pants.
Well, Danielle, I guess we know who wears the pants in this relationship.
My husband, he tries to convince me. He's like, you don't need those. I'm like, yes, I do.
All
Sorry,
husbands try to
TMI.
convince their wives they don't need pants.
100%. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is definitely a challenge to find pants every day. Aaron, how did you approach this scene? And I know you and Danielle have done quite a few fan dubs together, which you've produced, that sound amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
And you guys have done a bunch of other stuff as well. So I imagine it was pretty easy to kind of fall into this role and act opposite both Hannah, who you're very close with on a friendly level. You call her your little sister, so almost family. Danielle, who you've worked with a ton of times. Both of you yell at me for making bad jokes, so I mean you're basically also family again. I imagine it was pretty easy to kind of slip on the pants of Matt Kaufman to get into this role and kind of take on this scene.
So, unnecessarily long-winded answer. I don't know if Jason was playing into it, but so Hannah and I have an incredible bro-sis chemistry. I love her. She loves me. I am her big bro. And I think going into this scene, starting with her, you can feel the little sisterly vibe that when she and I are kind of just playing off each other regarding the gargoyle, regarding the suspicion of the gardeners. I mean, it's there. The banter is there. It's not Matt and Jer there, but it's like Dean and Charlie from Supernatural when they're trying to be FBI agents. Like, Charlie has no idea what she's doing. Dean's trying to kind of lead the thing. I feel like that's where Lynn is. Like, she's just kind of going with it because she's already been doing what she's been doing, but she plays it off so incredibly well. And I think Matt and Lynn have this nice little big bro, little sis vibe going. So that was definitely helpful. The other thing that I enjoyed about this particular scene is that for the second time now, we get to see Matt in money-making mode. Like, Matt's in it. He's doing the work. He knows, all right, he's got the envelope. He's got the green. This is it. We're in the trenches now. And the Gardner house, that's a big deal. We are in the trenches of the trenches.
Going into the lion's den, as it were.
Absolutely. We don't know what's coming. So it's like, Lynn, be cool. All right, Matt, be cool. Everybody be cool. Right? So
Yeah, because you really they have no idea if who this wife really is. Like, if she's working with, Jefferson, or if she's like just not even aware of anything, or, and it's, you don't know.
It's definitely you can 100% feel that at the beginning of the conversation. Like, once they knock on the door, get inside, the introductions are appropriately awkward. And I'll say that just because, when you're going into something kind of, you don't necessarily have an ulterior motive, but you also don't know what you're expecting. Like, there's going to be that kind of weird tension. I got that 100% from the beginning of this episode. And I got the playfulness from Tatiana and Matt at the beginning, the brother-sister or like really good professional colleague vibe, like that really came through. And the cool thing is they just met. So it's like they're already aligned. They already know that they're working towards a common goal. It's great. They get to Renee Gardner, and that tension kind of comes up at the beginning of the conversation, at least. And then I think, Danielle, you do an excellent job of kind of putting them at ease, demonstrating that Renee is not on Jefferson's side. She's operating totally, you might say, opposite of his intentions. He's going a particular way, and she's not super happy with it. So she's trying to give them information to, point them a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Heck, she kicked him out of the house. So
right, 100%. And she straight up says, if I'm looking up the actual line here. It's basically along the lines of, if you're looking for something bad and you think he did it, he probably did, right? Like, I love that line, and I can't find it.
Let me see. Hold on. It was, oh man, I just listened to it and I had it in my head too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's somewhere.
And I'm looking at the script and I can't find it because I use the scripts to kind of prompt me on what I want to talk about next or where I want to, guide the conversation. But I love the fact that you're basically just saying he's straight up bad. Like,
Jefferson Gardner is not a good man. Keep looking, or if you're looking for something, or
if you're looking for any evidence of wrongdoing, keep looking. You'll find it.
You'll find it. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
that one.
Obviously,
100%.
the
Leave it to the
writer
showrunner.
of it.
Love it.
And I think Matt and Renee do a really good job of cluing each other in onto things that they don't want each other to know, but they really want each other to know.
Yep, 100%.
Matt is like full in. We're chasing this thing because in the end, Matt wants out. He wants to be done. He wants to close the book on McCracken. He wants to close the book on Gardner. He wants to close the book. This is it. This is like the final boss for him. So, he's hoping that he can just get this done, buy his cabin, and take his chair up there and enjoy the rest of life.
Now,
I will never not ship that. I will never not ship that.
It's a good thing to ship. I think Jer and Matt would work very well together because they're both kind of in the same. They have very similar interests and they're aligned as far as life goes. So I think that's a very, very cool relationship to kind of ship. Jason, got something that's been tickling my mind.
All right, shoot.
I noticed, and I know you listened to the last episode of Resonant Frequency, so you probably heard me bring it up there. But I noticed that there was one spot where Lynn, her name changed to Tatiana in the script, and then it changed back to Lynn for the rest of the script. I noticed in this script, she's Tatiana all the way through. I don't see any mention of Lynn other than the credits, where you list everybody who's in the episode and who they play. Is that indicative of anything?
No.
Thank you. You've put a...
No, that's the actual answer. What happened there was I forgot to change the rest of the Lynn, because when I first wrote the script, I don't think I had the name Tatiana yet. So I knew the name was going to change. I didn't know what to. So when I wrote it out, it was all just Lynn. And then I did change it for the one. I just forgot to change it for the rest of them. But had I done it correctly and the way I wanted to, it would have been Tatiana then for the remainder of the script. But I will say that if you notice, when they're introduced to Renee Gardner, Matt introduces her as Lynn, not Tatiana.
I did not notice that. Wow, so you got a detail over on me.
And now
like
you
that.
did.
Yeah, now I did notice. That's right, this is Lynn. I gotcha. Okay.
I was going to say, Rob's over here looking at it like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? And
Yeah,
Jason's like,
well-
I forgot.
And sometimes that's just the case, but I still don't believe Jason, so it's going to be continuing to tickle my mind for the rest of time. I'm actually curious. Now I'm going to have to go and listen again and see if Renee calls her Tatiana at any point, because that would be fun. But you don't have to answer that.
I was going to say, for this episode, I don't think so, but
For future episodes, we'll keep our ears peeled. I love it. That's all I've got. Does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about as far as this episode goes? Anything that maybe I missed? It went over my head because I'm too busy theory crafting on other things like people's names. Any performance notes that you guys wanted to share that you thought, hey, this was really cool. I want to bring this up. Anything else?
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
My questions are concerning, and also for the listeners, timelines. I want to kind of know what's going on with time. So from episode 1 to the beginning of episode 3, we've got the kids, we've got the post-grad frequency workers, up to the beginning of where, Matt and Jer are. How much time has passed?
Not much.
Not much.
Like,
are we talking
maybe a month.
A month. Okay. And then from
maybe at maximum a month.
And then from Matt and the first phone call to now, how much time has passed? A couple days?
I think I calculated it to be about 3 days.
Okay, so there's no lull then.
Not really. There are the necessary lulls because all the episodes start at night.
Okay.
So you're not seeing what's happening in the mornings and afternoons for the most part. But in terms of timeline, this is all happening pretty quickly.
All righty. That's all I'm wondering.
That's actually a really great question. I love that because that now you got me on a different path of theory crafting, Aaron. And Jason saying that they all start at night. Again, it's obvious that they all start at night, but you don't really think about it. We're at episode 7 as of this episode. So the minimum amount of time that could have passed, assuming everything happened one day after another, this is a week, right? So if we give it let's say 3 weeks to a month for the first 3 episodes, each episode is like a week apart maybe, and then all of the other ones are just day, right? So that's actually kind of a cool way to kind of look at it. And I think that also kind of ties in a little bit to, it feels like at the beginning, the opening and closing DJ monologues were a little bit more laid back. They felt a little bit more kind of like, hey, we're back in the evening. We're doing this cool thing. We're going to coast till the morning. And especially in episode 7, but also 6 and a little bit in 5, it feels like the DJ either has more information to divulge or he's getting a little bit more... I don't think he's anxious, but I think he feels the energy that's coming through because of what's going on, and that's coming through in his monologues or his introductions and outros. So I think it's actually really cool to discuss the timeline because things are getting a little bit more compressed, and the DJ is also getting a little bit more higher energy, if that makes sense. Really cool. Jason, you were about to start something before Aaron had a question. I was just curious, do you have anything? Aaron, did you have another question, or was that...
Nope, let him ride.
Well, Rob, you were talking earlier about the way that production goes for these episodes, where you get one episode's script and we record it, whether it's together or kind of in scene separately. But you said something about how the process is affecting the output, and I think it really does. It's kind of a weird way to produce something like this, to just go like one episode at a time, especially when you do have, these are serialized episodes, and we've talked at length about, pardon me, about how this it initially started as one thing and then morphed into something different. But one of the things that this method of production allows me to do is it's tricky to produce these episodes sometimes because I'll be in the middle of an episode and trying to get the Foley just right or whatever it is. And then something that I hear in the episode will spark an idea for something for the next episode. So then I'm jumping over to a Word document to do writing, and then 45 minutes later, I'm still writing, and I haven't gotten any further on the episode I was trying to produce. So that can be a little bit challenging to deal with, but I think it really allows me to be open and receptive to all these little things that kind of emerge, in particular in the performances that all of you do. There has been so much that has been informed in one way or another, in terms of plot, in terms of what's going to happen in future episodes, that has been directly informed by the creative choices that all of you have made in the episodes. So it's really kind of nice to be able to be that nimble and and not be tied into a certain thing, and then if you want to go back and implement that, it becomes a real practical challenge. Not that such things are impossible, but I really have enjoyed just listening to what all of you do and then be able to pluck things out from there and use that and infuse it into the rest of the story. So that's one thing that I'm gonna have to figure out how I keep that element alive as we go into season 2, because season 2 will be something that's actually like planned out beforehand and we'll know kind of what's happening, as opposed to this.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say I love not knowing what's happening, because I feel like I can learn along with the character that I'm playing what unfolds based on whatever machinations they have going. Like, I have an idea of what Jefferson is planning on doing, so I can act that out as far as the character is concerned. But Jefferson doesn't know what's going to happen. This whole thing might fall apart. Dr. Petrovich might hire ninja assassins to come and take him out or whatever. Like, who knows, right? And no, that's not an actual canonical theory craft thing that I'm coming up with, but Jefferson doesn't know. And I feel like I like acting not knowing, because I think that if I knew what was happening, I don't necessarily know that it would influence my performance too much, but I think there would still be an influence in the performance, because I'd be like, okay, well, I know this is where I'm going, or I know that this is what's going to happen, so I'm going to read it a little differently because I'm going to try and foreshadow myself, where that's not necessarily what we want to be doing. We want it to be raw and authentic for the moment, right? So even if you have a full, let's say you write you write seasons 2 and 3 completely. I think as a performer, and I'm sure that you don't always get this. Generally speaking, you'll probably get to read the whole script through at least once before you get to do anything in other productions. But it would be nice to be like, here's Jefferson's goal, or here's Corey's goal, right? But you're not going to get scripts 8 through 10 or whatever until you get there. Because then I think that's great, because then at least I know what, and again, I can read the between the lines in the scripts to kind of get an idea of what the characters are going for. So that's not usually a problem, but making sure we're aligned would be great, but I really don't want to know. So I love the fact that I'm actually just sitting here like thinking this would be an immense amount of pressure on me if I were like trying to write a script after an episode's done. And I know you've got a framework, so you've already kind of done that, at least in your head. So it's not as much of an issue as I'm probably making it out to be. But I know for me, I wouldn't have anything for the next episode, because even these, I don't have a script for an interview. I have a script for our intro that I wrote after episode 5, because I was like, we need to make this a little bit more streamlined, and an outro script, and that's about it. And then I just kind of go based, again, I guess very similar to you. I'm going based on your answers on what we talk about. And I see Danielle making all kinds of little hand gestures, and she's got all kinds of threads now. She's theory crafting on my theory crafting.
Who,
I
me?
love it.
Who, me?
Oh yeah, you. I see you. I see you over there. But I love that. Like, I love not knowing what's happening. I love not knowing what's coming next, I should say, because I think that's fantastic. It's a great way to act for me.
Right. Well, I think it, when I'm writing these episodes, I'm primarily thinking about, like, what's going to, when somebody reads this or hears it after it's been produced, how do I make this engaging? How do I make the characters relatable and real? And how do I give the people who are reading this or listening to it, how do I create a genuine emotional reaction? How do I make their skin crawl at the sleazy guy? And how do I make them want to cheer for the people who are doing it? Like, that's the whole goal. So when I'm writing these things, there's a large portion of it where I want to give all of you not just an interesting or nuanced character to play, but I want to create a sense of tension and urgency and excitement in the script, because I think when you can see that in the script, I know for me as an actor, not all scripts are created equal. There are some scripts that were just they're just, they're better constructed, and as a performer you're given a lot to work with, and then you can take that and mix it through your own experiences and come up with something really vibrant. So when I'm writing, I want to make my friends go, "Oh, that's so cool." Like, that's a huge part of my motivation. Because if I can do that for you, and then you can take that and you want to translate that for all the people who are going to listen, I think that's where you get a cool, engaging story with good, solid, authentic performances. And that's the whole goal of this whole thing.
Well, I think you definitely nail it with the scripts, because there have been plenty of times, going all the way back to episode 2, where I'm reading through a script and I'm like, oh, that's cool, right? Like, and then episode 3, and then, like, we talked about this in one of our previous episodes, but all those little aha moments, they're all there. And I love, number one, getting to read them when we're going through the script before we do our performance or before we do our recording. I love getting to hear them, because I'm not the only one performing. So listening to how Tiffany performs something where maybe that line in the script didn't trigger an aha moment for me, but the way that she presented it did, I love that. And then it's the same when we get the produced episodes, right? Yeah. So I'm listening through these episodes, and even going back, like I said, I listened all the way through. I just recently, yesterday, went down and visited my aunt and uncle in Fresno, and I listened to Static Shift on the way down from episode 1 all the way to not episode 7, but episode 6. And I picked up a couple more little tidbits as I was going through, and I was like, oh my God, like, there's so much. This is why I have the vision board, Danielle, with all the little red threads. Okay? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. And my car has red threads going through it too, all right?
Allow me to introduce Robert Sogomonian, our resident theory conspirator. I did not say
theory
that well.
Crafter.
Yeah, theory crafter.
Theory ninja.
But it's funny because, like, as
conspiracy
I'm performing
theorist.
this stuff,
that's the word I was looking for. Conspiracy theorist.
Yes. I don't connect the dots when I'm performing it. Like I'm not I'm not connecting the dots. So it's not until I listen back that I'm like, oh. And I'm glad that I'm not connecting the dots because I think I would perform things differently. And I'd rather not know. I'd rather just be in the moment, in that scene, and reacting and performing the way I think that scene should be, right? Because like you said, if I knew, I would foreshadow myself. I would give it away.
Yeah, but a
So
little
don't
bit
tell me because I don't want to know.
But a little bit of foreshadowing is really good. Like,
Yes.
I geek out when I get the scripts, and I'm like, am I in it? Am I in it? Can I see? Where's my character? And very.
Damn it, a phone voice again. Jason!
Or like I'm not in it.
I
Well, I
know.
get to watch everybody else. Okay.
I know. So if I'm not in it, I'll look at the script and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna glance through it, and then I'm gonna wait to hear everybody else do it because that is gonna be like, oh yes. But I like a little bit of foreshadowing because for me, I'm like, if I have a thought in my mind of the person is saying one thing, but they really mean something else, you have just little hints of foreshadowing, which I find so beautiful when I'm listening to the final product because it's like, oh, something comes through. You don't know what. You have no idea. But it's just that little, like, a teensy aha moment that you really might not catch the first time you listen around or until the foreshadowing has become, until it's happened. But I'm a little different. I'm like, oh, can I know all the details? Can I know?
Well, people like a good puzzle, right? Some people like to do puzzles where the whole image is upside down and you don't get to see it until you flip over the whole puzzle, right? Some people are like, I need to outline this whole thing. Give me my edges. I need to figure out what's happening where. I'm going to color code it. I'm going to figure it out, right? But yeah, I think it's interesting how we each approach our puzzle. And I think it's great that listeners get to have a puzzle to figure out. So, yeah.
Agreed. Anybody else have anything else that they want to talk about for episode 7, Spooky Action? All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed joining us. If you have any comments, questions, theories, or just want to send us a quick note about Static Shift, you can email us, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, at staticshift@articulate.studio. And that's articulate with the number 8, not with an ATE. If you would like more information about Articulate Studios, visit us on the web, articulate.studio. If you'd like to inquire about working with any of us on other voiceover projects, we don't just do audio dramas. We do commercials, audiobooks, we do explainer videos, e-learning, we do corporate narration, medical narration. If it's voiceover, we will definitely do it for you. Please send an email directly to contact@articulate.studio. We'll point you to the right set of actors who can audition, provide custom auditions for whatever project you're working on, and you can make your choice based on that. Look forward to episode 8 of Static Shift coming up this next Wednesday, or I guess this coming Wednesday, because this is going to be a little in the future, right before Thanksgiving. No, episode 7 is coming out right before Thanksgiving. Right after Thanksgiving, first week of December, episode 8. And then look for the next Resonant Frequency coming out that weekend following that. So from all of us here at Articulate Studios, have an excellent rest of your week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey day or your tofu or your turducken or your ham or whatever you're making for your Thanksgiving dinner. If you're not in the United States, it sucks to be you. Sorry. We're getting a really cool Thanksgiving holiday and a lot of really good food. So, oops. Well,
we
I
look
guess
forward to your angry emails.
Yes, please send them directly to me. Contact@articulate.studio. And have a happy holidays if you do celebrate, and we'll tune in together soon. Goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.